So I heard about this mock duck from Companion Foods, ordered some off of Amazon, and we wanted to try it out and give you guys kind of a little review on it. But instead of just, eating it right out of the can, we figured let's put it into a recipe and see how it works in real life. So I'm gonna put this to the side for a minute and we're gonna make some fried rice.
Now this is a quick and easy cheater method of fried rice that is so far removed from authenticity that it's ridiculous. But guess what? It still tastes good.
But it is still technically a fried rice dish. So to get started, I want to use some mushroom and onion. How much mushroom and onion am I using?
You're using a full medium onion and roughly 4 ounces of sliced mushroom.
I have my wok heating up. Whoops. It's on 4 out of 5, which is pretty hot on this little thing. And I'm just gonna put in about, a tablespoon or so of canola oil. And I wanna swirl that around in the wok so that the surfaces are covered, right? And once that starts to heat up, that's when we put in our mushrooms and onions right into the wok. And once you start hearing that sizzle, which I don't, then you just keep it moving. I turned it all the way up to 5, so ours goes to 5. Basically, just want to let that go for a while. Let's talk about this for just a moment. This is literally just seitan, okay? If I read the ingredients, if I can find them, these cans came like taped together, so the labels like rip off. Okay, while I open this up, let's talk about what the ingredients are. This is seitan, but it does have some soy extract in it. When I looked at the ingredients, nothing that you really don't want, but it was seitan with some soy products. So if you're sensitive to soy, this might be something to avoid. There is some salt in here too. It's mostly a preservative, but if you're sensitive to salt, you might want to be careful on how much you consume. There is a liquid in here, and I'm just gonna dump it out. I have yet to try using the liquid, but I could probably use that as like a broth for steaming seitan in or something, maybe. I don't know. For now, we're not gonna use it today. We're starting to get some sizzle. Just wanna move them around a little bit so nothing gets, over caramelized, also known as burned. And then I'm gonna dump it out. And it is these lovely little chunks. I mean, it even looks like it has the fake skin texture.
Yeah, it does look kind of like duck chunks.
Yep, that's the idea. Now, these are kind of big to throw into this. So what I generally do is I just cut them into, more appropriately sized pieces. And let me just cut that up and be right with you. By the way, we'll have a link to this in the description. They also make a curried chicken. It's not chicken, it's seitan, but they make a curried chicken and a seitan pieces. So, it could be whatever you want, I guess. They also do vegetables and stuff. They have like a sampler packet. It was kind of neat. I was curious. This came highly recommended in a couple of different places that I found it. And okay, so let's go. All right, so our seitan is now bite-sized.
And we have sizzle.
We have extreme sizzle, but not in a bad way. It's in a good way. Nothing's got any color yet. The onions are just now starting to get softened, which is pretty much what we want. I like the mushrooms to absorb a little bit of the liquids before I move on to the next step. So give this like 5 to 7 minutes or so. By the way, you can have your rice cooking while you're doing this part. It's usually how I do it. They say, you should use like day-old rice and stuff like that. Well, you totally can if you really want to, but I tend to say, hey, let's go make some fried rice and start it from scratch. All in all, though, this recipe is like 40 minutes from start to table. Like, it's super, super quick and easy if you do this step along with the rice. By the way, if you're not sure how to make brown rice, we have a video of how to do it in the Instant Pot that should have come out before this one. So you can go find that, or the link will be in the description. All right, now that is pretty well close to being done, I'm gonna throw the seitan duck in here, along with our, mixed veg. It's kind of a cramped working space here. I normally cook on the stove. I suggest you do that too, because working on the table like this, it's just not as convenient. Those vegetables are technically already cooked. You just wanna heat them through so they're not, frozen.
Non più tra I farfalloni amoroso, notte giorno di torno girando.
After about 2 minutes or so, it's still sizzling. As long as it's sizzling, there's still water in there, which means nothing should be burning. So after about 2 minutes or so, let's add in, you know what? I'm gonna change it up today. Let's add in our other additions. We have soy sauce. How much soy sauce is that?
1/4 cup.
1/4 cup of soy sauce. That will immediately take the temperature of the pan down. You heard it. It goes right down. I'm also going to lower the temperature down to medium-low. What's next?
A 1/2 teaspoon sesame oil.
I'm going to eyeball this. I know, me, eyeball something. Sesame oil is incredibly flavorful and adds a lot to this particular dish. Also makes the house smell amazing. Next.
A 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, onion powder, and ground ginger.
These are just your flavorings. They just add to the flavors in here. If you don't have the ground ginger, it's okay. You can actually use fresh if you really want to. You can use fresh garlic if you prefer.
Speaking of garlic, one of our favorite new garlic hacks is this fried garlic.
Did you say hack?
I did. He hates that word. Is this fried garlic that we found at the Asian market. So this is 1 tablespoon of fried garlic.
This stuff is so incredibly fragrant and powerful in flavor. I use it in like everything now. It's just awesome. But it's also why I turned the heat down, because it'll burn really, really fast. It's already cooked.
Yeah, you want to
So-
make sure whenever you're cooking with garlic that you don't burn it because it's instantly going to get bitter on you.
Right. Move this around a little bit, get everybody to know each other. And then we introduce the rice.
So that was 2/3 cup dry rice that we cooked, obviously.
And then you just mix everything through. The rice will actually start to absorb some of the extra sauce and other flavors that are in here, making this just luscious and lovely. And last but not least, the one thing that Derica cannot do without in a recipe, wow, that was difficult to say, is black pepper. How much black pepper? As
That
much
much.
as you want. Let that cook for maybe another minute or two. While that cooks up, we're gonna clear all this stuff out so that we have some space to show you. And just like that, everything's all cleaned up magically, because that's how it works when you're on TV. But in real life, it takes a little bit longer. And that was only like maybe 2 minutes. I'm just gonna dump this into a glass container here, because it's early in the day. We're not gonna eat all this right now. This is dinner, you know? Yeah, that's the thing. We don't waste food on this show. Like, I don't know what other people do, but I always have this logistics issue when we make food. It's like, okay, we have to make it at this time of day because we need to eat that kind of thing. But let me show you what this looks like.
Delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto d'amor. Delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto.
So, this wouldn't be a cooking show if we didn't eat something. So I'm going to hand over the fork.
Well, we actually have to eat 2 things. We have to eat the entire dish, giving you the flavors all together, and then we have to pick out a piece of the duck and
right.
give you our impressions on the duck.
So go ahead.
So I'm going to start with the whole dish.
Get a little of everything. It's hot. It's gonna be hot. Don't burn yourself. I'm saying that because I always burn myself. Derica is a fan of the fried rice. Okay, well, good.
Got all the different flavors and textures. The nuttiness of the brown rice. The corn, even though it was frozen, it still has a nice crunch to it.
Nice little pop.
Yep. And then that little tiny bit of sesame oil just makes it
Adds
so
complexity.
rich and deep and just yummy.
Go ahead and try it.
All right, so this is just some duck.
Just duck. The first thing I notice about the duck is the texture of it is actually pretty amazing. It's really got a nice, it's not chewy. It has that tender, like if you've ever had duck or I hate to say that on a plant-based channel, but if you've ever had it done in a Chinese restaurant or an Asian restaurant where they fry it up super fast and super, super tender, that's what it's like. And that's why I thought it worked really, really well in this dish.
And the way that works is because it has a high fat content. We're not dealing with that in this situation. It's just the ingredients and how it was
This is
processed.
actually very low fat content.
It stays nice and moist, but still has that texture that you're looking for.
Right. Well, it's braised seitan is what it says on the can.
There's an interesting thing in there that I know has to be inherent in their pecking liquid rather than in the ingredients you added for this particular thing. And then it almost has like a smoky barbecue thing going on.
Yeah, I think they flavor it. They're trying to add the most flavor. This is probably the most flavorful seitan that I've ever had that was a commercial product.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste like seitan. It doesn't have that odd VWG, vital wheat gluten taste or anything like that. It tastes unique. It tastes like duck. I mean, it really does.
I personally think it's a great product, particularly if you're interested in incorporating seitan into your diet.
And you're not sure what to expect? Try this.
And you're kind of hesitant on creating it from scratch yourself. There you go. Seitan in a can.
That said, we do really have simple videos on how to make seitan. We did ribs, and I have a super simple seitan cutlet that they're just really, really easy. Anybody can do them. But this is wonderful. Now, storage options. We put it in this container. We're going to put a lid on it. We're going to put it in the fridge. When it's time to eat, we're going to toss it in the microwave. Or you can throw it back in the pan and fry it up a little bit to reheat it through. That's my preferred method. But if I'm being lazy, you know, I'll just throw it in the microwave.
And fried rice really lends itself to being reheated and tasting just as good as when you originally cooked it.
It probably will taste even better the next day. It's just, it's one of those things like stews and chilies. They always say, fried rice tends to do that too, because I think it soaks into the rice more, melds the flavors better. But yeah, you can store this in the fridge for what, maybe a week, 10 days or so? I mean, you could freeze it actually if you really wanted to.
Yeah, this is a freezable recipe.
Yeah, totally freezable. And that way you can make up a big batch and have it for meals whenever you want to. The seitan freezes well in this, so don't even worry about that. But
if you want to take this to the next level, add some craziness to your fried rice, then you can top it with a nice little dollop of yummy sauce.
Which that video is coming out in a couple of days. So you'll get to see that in a couple of days. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching and have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Ci set, d'amore.